Let's see if this is working according to plan. Not really. This is supposed to be different thumbnail. YouTube, why you do this to me? All right, you guys are already jumping in. Awesome. So I changed the title. I had this all set up, and then it changed to Mustang Lifestyle Stream or something like that. I don't know why I did that. Hopefully you guys can hear me. Give me a few seconds to make sure I got everything configured right. But I figured we could have a, since I was driving all day, I didn't have a chance to get video edited up, but I figured we could do basically a talk on the 9-second pass, because there's a lot of things going on, and I think it'd be cool to pretty much talk about it. So sweet. What is up, everybody? So let me know if the title on this is GT500 9-second pass after talk. That is what I just set it to. That's what it should be, hopefully. And we'll kind of get started here pretty soon. Oh, but it didn't change the thumbnail. I didn't really want the thumbnail to be my face. Well, it says it took my thumbnail. All right. Let's just see, make sure everything's all set up. I think we are good. All right, let's look at this chat. I don't think it's going to change the title on your screen unless you guys like refresh or whatever. But it should change it on like the subscription feed. I guess if I could find my phone, we can see what it says on my phone. So I have some exciting stuff coming for my GT500 in the next few days, and I am really excited to show that off. So tomorrow we have a really cool video. Yeah, see, I'm looking on my phone, and it didn't change the thumbnail. So the title changed, but the thumbnail didn't change, which annoys me because I wanted to have a thumbnail with a GT500 on it, not my face. But, you know, whatever. So I think we are good. I think we got some people in here. So I'm assuming everybody saw the track pass from yesterday, or the track passes. I mean, really, the car only made like one good pass, you know, in the world of, you know, passes and whatnot. But, you know, I was really nervous the first pass out, you know, with the car. You know, being 1,100 wheel horsepower, doesn't hook on the street, and I got a lot of seat time on the street with it spinning, so I just didn't know if it was going to hook up on track. And I've seen some people wreck recently, and I was really scared. So first pass was like, I was super worried about it, but you know, it did pretty well. So I'm just going to look at the chat here real quick. We got some comments about the Whipple. So those of you guys who are on the live stream, you guys can get a little bit of sneak peeking at what's to come. But we are going to be installing Monday. But I think you guys can see that. There's the Whipple. I actually just went down to Palm Beach Dyno, just got back. So it got delivered to Palm Beach Dyno, so I just went and picked it up. It's big. And I'm super excited. Richard Diaz, what's up? Australia, down under. Oh, so this is like, what is this, like 8 a.m. for you or something like that? Morning? Some sort of morning for you guys. David Warden, 3.8 or 4.5. And we're going 3.8. So Whipple has come out with a 3.8 Whipple. And this is a combination of using everything they learned on the 3.0 Whipple, bringing that 3.0 and 2.9 Whipple, which has been the most efficient Whipple, you know, there is, and carry that over into a bigger displacement, but not like too big. So it's got really good airflow. The rotors are really badass. You know, the 3.4, 4.0, and 4.5 are all very similar blowers, just they have one thing, you know, kind of changed, is the displacement. While the 3.8 is just kind of a combination of everything Whipple has learned the past few years and how many, you know, advances they've made. There's some talk about a VMP 3.1 liter. I don't have any plans of running that. For one, it's like so far out at this point. And two, I mean, like the 3.8 is like, I was pretty happy with the 2.65 on my car with the stock motor, but with the built motor, I think we're holding back this beautiful, badass built motor with the 2.65. It just gets so hot. And we also have a huge theory, me and Cody, that the intercooler we put in it is just really holding things back. It's just not flowing right. I don't know if anyone in here, if you guys are familiar with J2 you know, they had a lot of issues with intercooler cores, and we got this upgraded VMP intercooler core, you know, back when we were building everything. And I have a theory that intercooler core, being their first revision, is not a good core. Similar to how J2 had some issues with their manufacturer for their intercooler, I think the one in my cars is not working well at all. And we have data to back it up. I'm going to look at the data logs and probably make a video talking about it. But at this point, I haven't talked with VMP, you know, on their intercooler. But I think I'm going to a stock intercooler when we put the Whipple in. I'm going to put the stock intercooler back in under the lower intake and take this intercooler out and try to inspect it and try to figure out some different things. Oh, we got Miguel in the house? Dude, I was just thinking about you the other day. I miss Miguel. What is up? So, yeah, big changes on the GT500 coming very soon. You know, and... oh, we got Cody in here. We should get Cody on the live stream. Cody, let's figure out how to get you in here. Let me see. How can we get Cody on the live stream? I guess we could just call Cody. Yeah, if we just called Cody, we could probably do that. We're going to get Cody in on the live stream. Let's see if we can FaceTime Cody. Because Cody was there at the track with me. Oh, we got Cody in here. So, yeah, I was bored. You know, obviously we just got back with, you know, getting the Whipple. And the unboxing is going to be tomorrow. But, Cody, what are your thoughts on the whole intercooler situation? Ooh, look at that.
So, as far as the intercooler situation, the theory is currently, well, not really a theory, we've kind of already proved that. What is feeding into the intercooler, so there's an inlet port and an outlet port, and what's feeding into that intercooler is almost like 5 times the amount of flow of what's coming out of the intercooler. So essentially there's channels inside the intercooler, and essentially what happened with J2 and we have the same theory that's carrying over to this intercooler, is that the channels are actually blocked off, and this water is not fully circulating the core, and it's getting restricted. So the actual GPM, or gallons per minute of the flow, is usually how you measure it, is like completely different from one of the exit port versus the inlet port. So it's just not getting proper cooling whatsoever. So the actual charge temps are just blowing through the intercooler, and it's not letting the blower cool at all whatsoever. So, and we can confirm that just be from the actual the intercooler overflow tank for the supercharger. The fluid that comes through it is cold to the touch versus matching what the IET2 temperature is. And in the data log, it's showing upwards of 170, 180 degrees through the traps, which if this car was a stock motor car and not on E85, that's no man's land. That's like blow-up territory. luckily, I mean, we have a built motor in this car, and it's on UD5, so we monitored some stuff, and that's what kept it alive, essentially. You know what I mean? And it's not a big. It's an issue that needs to be addressed as soon as possible, essentially.
Yeah. So we've made the decision, go back to the stock intercooler. Now I saw some people a little confused. For anybody who doesn't know, these are air to water setup. So I have a heat exchanger up front, which the heat exchanger works pretty well. That's the VMP unit. It's the intercooler core that is below the supercharger. That's where all the air flows in and down through. Oh, yeah. we got a view right here.
The actual intercooler core, and I'm using a stock one on my GT500, so this is my build. And this is the inlet port, and this is the exit port. So what's feeding into the intercooler, this port right here, is triple. I don't even know. I mean, it's triple plus the amount of flow of what's actually coming out of the exit of the intercooler. And this goes down through the top, comes out the exit, and these are just the flow tubes that come out. And this is a stock core, and people, I mean, the stock Garrett core, the stock air-to-water Garrett core has been proven. I mean, people have been sixes with it, so, I mean, in the quarter. So, I mean, people have been stupid fast. We're talking stupid fast race cars, so. But it's kind of been a known thing that J2 Fab has some issues due to Bell intercoolers, and I don't know exactly who VMP sourced for this intercooler and if that theory carries over, but we're pretty confident at this point. So
yeah, we're gonna pull that thing out, put the stock intercooler in it. We got the 3.8 Whipple. So pretty much, I haven't officially said it on the channel and in videos at all, but what I'm telling you right now, we got a 3.8 Whipple. It's going on the car. I think Sunday we'll put it on the car, and it's about to go down because while we didn't have a perfect track day the other day, I mean, we were at Test and Tune, dealing with all sorts of other people. You were dealing with my nervousness. I mean, you could see my hand shaking on the first pass. So I didn't know if the car was going to hook down track. I was scared. And once I got the first, pass, test pass, down, I felt a lot better. And then we could start working on the 60-foot. And obviously, we have to work with, I mean, we were, an hour and a half between each pass?
Yeah, hour and a half between each pass, and even between the hour and a half of cooldown between each pass, every time and without starting the car and actually letting the car do a cooldown and circulating the intercooler, we, turning on the intercooler pump when the car's off, we were still starting the car at 140, 150 degrees IET2.
Yeah,
so that's higher than what it would even be at the end of a full pass with stock.
Yeah, I mean, really, the goal wasn't necessarily to go, 8s with the car. My goal right now is, ongoing is to go 8s. But the goal the other day was basically see what the VMP traps, and try to get an idea of how we're going to 60-foot it and how we're going to improve the car, going forward. But the goal wasn't to go fast. The goal was just to get a 9, get something cool, figure out what it trapped, which we did. We figured out it traps 148 consistently. And the IATs are obnoxious, and obviously we need some more air pressure in the tires and some, I think a little bit more compression rebound or something like that on the rear. It kind of snapped back.
It was essentially just go A to B, really. I mean, we knew going into it, you didn't have a sway bar, you didn't have an anti-roll bar set up, so we knew that the body was going to roll a little bit. We just knew it was going to be subpar conditions. I mean, you're dealing with a car that had a fresh motor, a fresh trans, and a fresh rear end, all within the last 2 months. I mean, so everything on this car is brand new. Everything, it's just a brand new build. You don't just jump in a car. I mean, if it was that easy, everybody would be doing it, And so we knew what going into it. It was, it was a very good day for what it did. I mean, a 9.6 is very reasonable in that setup on the first outing. The mile an hour is down. I mean, we're down. Like I said, if you just use simple math, it's simple math. You can get on any calculator online, you can type in the weight of the car, and you can type in what the car is making for power at the actual tire. And the car is a 155, 158 trap car, and due to the heat issues, that's what kept us away from that. But it's just, like I said, it's dialing up. Any setup is it's the part that most people give up on, but it's also, it's the trickiest part, but it just takes time,
Yeah, Dennis said he ordered a Whipple 2 months out. I think Cody and we got our order in what, July?
Yeah, about July, yeah. Early, I think July 10th is when we went in with Whipple.
Yeah, so we put our orders in around the same time. Mine was pretty much right after we got off the dyno and figured out that we pretty much maxed out the VMP before, when I originally talked with Justin and everything, we had plans of making 1300. And 1100 is no joke. Like, that's badass power for a 2.65 liter. But the plan was for 1300, so that's when we kind of started looking at, on top of the heat issue, we started looking at the Whipple, because in theory we should be able to make the same power with like the same boost, but 23 pounds is like nothing for that Whipple 3.8. And I mean, obviously we're going to test all these theories.
Yeah, I mean, just right now, off close stand data that we have received from Whipple, because I mean, Whipple are still collecting. Whipple themselves are still collecting a lot of data, because they only have they only have a couple cars that actually have the 3.8 up and running so far. But there's a lot of people that have the 3.8 on motors that are getting ready to go in cars. But as far as 3.8 flow data, it's looking like on a 5.4, 5.8 combination with 07 to 14 GT500, the actual blower is going to be capable of, on the smaller pulleys like a 275, it's going to be capable of 35 plus psi, which is very it's
that's rowdy.
Yeah, it's insane. So those are just a measure of restriction, but still, it's the actual. It's just crazy stuff. I mean, it's a very badass blower. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah, I see a few people asking about like Kenny bells. So let's talk about Kenny bells for a second, right? So like those Kenny bell blowers, right? There's like a handful of people who swear by Kenny bells, and they may go fast in like full on race cars, but the reality is, like, look at who's innovating in the industry right now. Whipple has had these big blowers, the 4.5, the 4.0, the 3.4, and those were just they were similar to the Kenny bells, but this 3.8 is a completely new design. Taking everything they learned from the past and bringing it into something that's big, but not like 4.5 big. It doesn't have to be crazy big if you have the airflow and the efficiency. And I mean, I hope everyone will understand once they see this elbow on this blower, because it is nasty.
I mean, I have mine literally right here in front of my face. It's incredible.
The elbow, inlet, like rotors, everything about it is so insane how big it is.
Yeah, it's very, And so, I mean, it's a Gen 5 rotor pack, so like a lot of people are like, well, I mean, it's a completely different blower compared to the old 4.0 or the old 4.5, the Gen 2, Gen 3, 4.0, 4.5, because I guess the rotor, I mean, I don't really want to just like say a bunch of stuff that I'm not 100% confident in, but the actual rotor pack is, the weight is substantially different, so the rotational mass on the actual crank, you don't have to worry. It's a big blower, and that was somewhat of an issue on some of the, on the crankshafts, like using a factory crank if you're not using a billet crank. But the 3.8, I guess the actual rotor pack weight is substantially less. It's in comparison on the Gen 5. It's compared to, a 2.9 or the old 3.4. So it's just the rotor pack weight. It's completely different, but you're still getting the displacement of a bigger blower. So it's pretty. It's an all-around badass unit for sure. I'm looking really forward to testing it with both cars. So.
Yeah, and I see we got some comments going through. Some people really like those Kenny bells, and you can like the Kenny bells, but me personally, like the only time I've been a fan of a Kenny bell is watching the old school, Cobra Terminator video on YouTube with it, screaming back in 2000. What was that? 2005. That video came out. But I mean, like this is 2020, and Kenny Bell has. Okay, let's just put this in perspective. I was trying to sell that 2.8 Kenny Bell, really, like, actually a pretty nice kit. I was trying to sell a complete 2015 S550 kit, and everywhere I posted it, I had to sell the thing for like $4,000 shipped. Like, a complete S550 supercharger kit with injectors, supercharger, lower intake, heat exchanger, everything. $4,000. Kenny Bell is just, I mean, either their marketing's bad or they just really haven't done anything innovative recently.
Yeah, I mean, they're still using their same base stuff and their actual casing from like 2008, 2010. Nothing's really ever changed. And I mean, it works to. I mean, people are going to bring up some of their their really fast cars, and I mean they have very fast cars. There's no doubt about it. Most of them are complete race cars, though. But the fact of the matter is, they're not innovating and changing things, and bringing stuff to the crowd. And it's just, it's a lot of the older type of guys, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's just different. I mean, Whipple is also pretty much the only one that makes everything in house. I mean, if Dustin Whipple, the owner of Whipple Superchargers, if he has an idea, he just makes it. It's like everything's there in house. This is no like bashing anybody or bad mouthing anybody. VMP wants to make a blower, they have to wait on Eaton to make the rotor pack, or strip out Magnuson to make the case. Like it's not, it's Whipple in house. It's there. So I mean, everything's. If he has an idea, he just makes it. It's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, and there's some people saying there's like a comment here saying a TVS 3100 capable of 2K horsepower. Maybe, I don't know. But
yeah,
I mean, I'm more excited the 3100 TVS. I'm more excited to see that on an OEM application. Like if that starts getting integrated into like these Hellcat Demon iterations, like that's gonna be cool. Like a 3.1 liter TVS coming factory on a car, like that's cool.
Yeah. I'm not a hater either. I mean, when the 3.1 comes out for the GT500. Like I said, I bought the 2650, I bought the Whipple 3.8, and I'm willing to, buy a 3.1 just to test it. I'm firmly confident that I'm on Team Whipple on this car, for the rest of its journey. I don't really see myself ever taking the Whipple off and racing with another blower, but I'm willing to test it. So that's the fun in the game for me, really.
Yeah, for sure. We got Joey in the house. What's up? We got, let's see, what else we got in here? I saw someone. There's Hozu, I think that's his name. Says he's a big fan. Yeah. Question. So Stang Mode has a stock GT making 9, close to 8. How can you compare he's using a VMP? So Stang Mode has a completely different car. It's a an A10. 10-speed auto, and his car made like somewhere around like 800 or 900 horsepower with VMP tuning it, but now it's been like turned up a lot. Palm Beach Dyno's tuning it now, and I think it trapped like 151, so like 8.9 at 151. So I mean his car's getting it, but he's definitely on the end of the stock motor, and I think he knows that, so I think he's looking at some motor options. But, yeah.
Yep.
Talk about twin turbo. Well, I will, as of right now, I have zero plans of doing a turbo setup on my GT500. Cody, on the other hand, maybe like down the road. See, but here's the thing, like once you go turbo, it takes the fun out of it, because turbo is going to be like if you want to go fast, turbo is the ultimate way. But in reality, if you want something relatable, especially for me, right? I want something relatable, and to do something that other people can kind of relate to. Once you go turbo, it's like yeah, well, obviously you're fast because you have a turbo kit. It just kind of takes the fun and the challenge away from a supercharger car.
Yeah, and there's especially on a street car application. On a GT500 wise, there's not a ton of room. I mean, a lot of stuff has to be relocated, especially if you're trying to put the turbos in the engine bay.
Yeah.
There's one kit on the market, it's the Hallion kit, and it has to use a scavenge pump because it mounts the turbos underneath the car by the trans. And it was just never really ever a proven kit. That's why it never really ever took off.
Jason Textera's kit is really nice, but I believe that is a custom kit.
Yeah, that is a custom kit. I could be completely wrong here, but I'm pretty sure it's based off CG Fab headers, which you essentially buy the headers and then work the rest of the kit from there. And he did a phenomenal job to make sure everything was in the engine bay and still utilizable. I mean, the only thing that sucks is you have to like relocate the ECU and stuff like that because the way the right-hand turbo mounts, where the fuse box, the PCM, and everything is at, it's all in the way. So
yeah,
you just have to relocate a lot of stuff.
There's a lot of stuff. So here's a comment. What's the wheel horsepower cap on your built motor? I know Jordan is 100% okay with making 1300 wheel horsepower. So, and I think that's a solid cap. I want to keep it at around 11 or 1200 horsepower. Race it, enjoy it, and then if we're at the track and we're on the border of like, I'm pretty sure we should be able to go 8.9 with like the power that we have now / with the Whipple. 11 or 1200. I think we'll be able to go 8.9. But if we were like on the border, we could just pull it down and fucking send it right into
right into it. Yeah.
Right into the eights, just back half it. But if we can get the short track down, like even just a low 1.5, like high 1.4, I think we would be on on the way to getting, even just with a 148 trap, we'd be like low 9s. And once we get the Whipple on there, I mean, we should be in the 155 plus mile an hour range.
For sure.
Yeah. Stock of compound boost? Nope. I don't. Compound boost is like cool idea, but the reality is at the end of the day, if you were feeding twin turbos into a supercharger, the supercharger becomes the restriction for the turbos. You want those turbos to flow and not flow through rotors. There's no point.
Yeah, it just becomes a restriction at that point. So there's
other than the cool factor of saying you have twin turbos and a supercharger, you're just kind of,
But yeah, I mean, that and more on that question on your actual like what your motor's capable of. Your motor's, I mean, it's very stout. I mean, it could make 1400 no problem. The limitation of Andrew's motor is the crankshaft itself. I mean, the block is sleeved, and the rotating assembly that's actually in the block, other than the crank, aside from the crank, he's got a motor that's capable of 1500 plus. I mean, everything in that motor is really, really stout. It's just the crank itself. Once you start going past 1400, 1350, I would say, it's been known that with a PD blow past that point, being that doesn't have center counterweights, that it's prone to having crank flex, and that's when you start breaking stuff. The crank will start walking, and off the center counterweights in the crank will actually separate. So at that point, it's just smart to shut it down. And people are gonna ask why didn't you change a crank? You can do a billet crank, but billet cranks are $4,500, $5,000. So it would take it's a substantial increase.
Yeah. All right. So we got some questions about tuners, right? So there's a question about what made you switch from VMP to Palm Beach Dyno, and I've answered it before. It's actually pretty simple. When I put the engine all together, I had full intentions of VMP tuning the car. We were buttoning up little things here and there. VMP sent me a tune. We got it to start and idle. Turned it off, and then I was trying to figure out some other issues. Turned it back on, data logs back and forth, trying to get some things, like working so I could drive the car and move it and put it in my trailer. And it wouldn't come down to idle. It wouldn't restart unless I, put my foot to the floor, turned the injectors off. I couldn't move the car at all. And Rob at Palm Beach Dyno tunes the GT350R, our S550, at the time my F150. Rob tunes all my stuff. Rob and Ken, they are awesome over there. So I said, hey Rob, I don't know what's going on. I don't know if there's a hardware issue with my car. But he basically said, hey, here, try this. See if it works, and, then you can kind of rule out if there's a hardware issue. Sent me the tune, boom, started right up. The car idled great, it revved so smooth, and I drove it around the corner. That was pretty much, that was it. I mean,
yeah.
There's, obviously, VMP wanted to tune it, and Palm Beach Dyno just wanted to see my car run right. VMP wanted to make a lot of horsepower with it, and we wanted to do really cool videos together, and that was the plan. But just with how smooth it went with Palm Beach Dyno, just getting it started up, That just made the decision right there. And then there's also a question about why not go Lund. It's pretty clear for me. I work with Palm Beach Dyno really closely, tune all my stuff. They've never given me a reason to doubt them, and they're really good. Cody's car on stock motor was tuned by Lund,
Yeah.
and I would rather see someone get like a Lund tune over any random Mickey Mouse tuner that's out there, because there's a lot of bad tuners out there. So in terms of I
feel like it's probably once a month I get a DM from somebody from a Mickey Mouse tuner that blew their GT500 up, minimum, at least once or twice a month, and it's kind of like it really blows my mind. It really does.
Yeah.
So I mean, I would count. I can count it on one hand how many tuners I would trust tuning just even a GT500, let alone getting into like Coyote-based stuff. So
yeah. So that was kind of the whole issue with that, and there's probably there's probably like a 0% chance that I'll ever have a Lund tuned car on the channel, and that's one because there's a person who works there who hates me for no reason. And two, I mean, Palm Beach Dyno, we work really well together, and they do awesome stuff, so there's no reason to doubt them. But in terms of if someone says, hey, I don't like Palm Beach Dyno for whatever reason, who should tune my car? I mean, like, yeah, just go to Lund. But I don't see why Palm Beach Dyno can pretty much tune any of these modern setups. Coyote, GT500, F-150s, they do it all. So that's their thing. No matter what power adder, no matter what setup it is, they do an awesome job.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Chris Jones asked if there's any contract stuff with VMP, and there's no like contract. I ran we both ran a VMP Gen 3R for a year, right?
Yeah, I mean.
And
I think a lot of people thought my car was sponsored by VMP. I literally went and bought the blower, $4,500 cash when when they first came in from Megson. Literally the same day, on the pallet, there was like a pallet of 20 plus GT500 blowers, Gen 3Rs. I went and here's the cash and took the blower. We had a ton of fun with it. We made a video with Justin. I had a ton of fun with the blower. If it wasn't for that blower, I probably wouldn't have gone as fast as I did at that point in time because technology was different then. So no hate there for sure.
Yeah, and I think it's cool the amount of push that obviously like VMP and Whipple compete, right? But it's almost good. It's pushing the two to keep innovating and keep pushing. Keep pushing the envelope. Dustin will see something sometimes and he'll be like, oh heck no, and Dustin already has and we're talking about Dustin Whipple. He already has things up his sleeve, so he'll post something crazy new. So and that's when I started seeing the 3.8 Whipple stuff come out when we were building my engine. I was talking with Jordan and we were like, dude, how sweet would one of those blowers be on this new engine? And here we are. So
yeah, for sure. All around, just Whipple. Whipple has made some really badass stuff recently. If you just look at Gen 5 stuff alone for Coyote and even Terminator stuff, you got people like Alan Garrett and Brian Crane, stick shift Terminator cars that are now in 8s, which is, stick shift blown Terminator cars that are in 8s, which is unheard of, years ago, and you're now making easy work out of it. So stuff like those cars, and you have people like Carlos Severa, went 8-1 this past weekend with a Gen 5 Whipple 10R80 car.
Yeah.
Some of these cars are just very aggressive.
I was just looking at that car today, and what's crazy is that car is not that crazy of a race car setup. It's not like a pro mod or crazy gutted. It has a Kirky, has a cage, it has a full S550 dash, has full S550 doors and door panels, and it still has a radio and ice tank. It's a pretty sweet car. So, and that car is going to go 7s, and we're talking with a 10R80 with stage 1 clutch pack upgrades, a car that you can go drive down the street and also go to the track and pretty soon run 7s. Right now it's running low 8s.
Yeah, I think 811. I mean, if I recall correctly, I remember hearing.
Yeah, I think that's right.
I think he can make a couple posts about it, and I watched some of his live stream the other day about it. It's like 811, and I think over 170 mile an hour, which
that's rowdy.
Yeah,
I can't wait to see what my car traps and your car traps. Because we're going to have a lot of really cool content. Because we did really cool content with, when I had got my Gen 3R and you got your Gen 3R, we were kind of, testing those back and forth and dynoing them and trying some things out. So this is kind of like our next, next step of the game. We both are built motor, GT500. My car is more a street car and heavy, while Cody's is going to be fast as fucking light.
Yeah, so exactly. I mean, pretty much simplified it there, but we both had Gen 3R GT500s. Mine was just a little bit more of a race car. Yours is a little bit more of a street car. And now we just have built motor 3.8 cars. Yours is still a street car, and mine's just even more of a race car. So it's, it's cool, doing different things, seeing how that stuff cooperates, and, we're both going to be on the same dynos, making similar power, and going to the track and seeing what that ET. So that's
with a stick.
Yeah, with a 6-speed. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I mean, a lot of people, I'll never put an auto in this car, and I'm pretty sure. I mean, you talked about a 6R80, and that'd be really cool too. But I mean, as of now, we both have a plan just to stay stick shift. So.
Yeah, I mean.
The stick shift stuff's getting crazy now.
Stick shift is it's fun, like. It's not, I mean, like, I don't ever think my car is going to be a consistent competition car. I like the car. I want to drive it. I want to enjoy it. I don't think my car will ever be a consistent competition car, But it may fucking go, like, 8.9, 8.8 or something. Like,
yeah, I see. I mean, for sure, once you start, I mean, like I said, we have full confidence, 3 is going to be capable on your car of 12, 1300 without a doubt. I mean, without a doubt. So, and, that's a lot of mile an hour. Calculating that out, that's a lot of mile an hour. So once that set up, it's gonna be rowdy.
Yeah, and to do that in a, my car's still got AC. It's got a diff cooler, it's got a trans cooler. Full weight nav subwoofer. It's, I mean, it's gonna be pretty impressive if we can get it down to that 8.9, and keep it a street car.
Yeah.
That's my goal. Cody, I'm excited for Cody's, because Cody's goal is to go like 8.5, 8.4 right off the rip. And I would love to see if it can go 7s, that'd be nasty. I mean, that is really, like, to go 7s in a stick PD blower car is going to be pretty unheard of.
Yeah.
But bottom 8s, I think you're...
I mean, I think, mid-8s is going to be definitely reasonable. It just, I hate to claim stuff. It's just seeing how everything plays out and how long it's going to take to get there. But I see mid-8s fairly reasonable, especially on this motor combo that we have in it. But as far as modular stuff, I mean, DPS still has that record at 853 at 166. And it's a nasty car. And since then, nobody's really, pushed it since now, and now people are starting to go really fast with stick shift stuff again. So it's gonna be interesting to see, no doubt, see how fast it can go. I got a goal in mind with it. So, and I'm not gonna give up until we get there. There's no doubt about that. Like on the old combo, we had the goal of the stock motor record, and this is the same exact way. We got another goal in mind, and we'll get there. So
yeah,
for sure.
Heck yeah.
I'm actually out in the garage right now, wrapping it all up.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, we got to figure out what we're doing Sunday. I mean, like, so it sounds like I'm gonna have to take my hood off, because my lowering kit didn't come in time for the engine to bring it down. So it sounds like my car is just gonna be rolling no hood for a little bit until we get the lowering kit.
A lot of people, I mean, that's another thing. A lot of people, I think there's a few people that think the 3.8 won't fit under the stock hood, and it will. You just need Whipple makes a lowering mount kit that drops the cradle about, like, I don't know, I think about 3 inches, 2.5 inches, somewhere around there, and it'll actually let the 3.8 clear the stock hood. So that's very cool as well.
Yeah. Yeah, and then I still have some things to, kind of figure out. I got to do an ice tank, for sure.
Yep.
Ice tank will be a good idea. You know, I think we were talking about feeding that into the factory intercooler pump. So, you know, on the street, everything will still work completely normal. It'll just have more water volume, and then when I go to the track, we can drain some water out and fill it with ice and get those IATs down. So, where'd Cody go? Chris Jones asked, what is my day job? This is it. You're looking at it. I am a YouTuber, I guess. YouTuber and business entrepreneur. You know, I flip some cars here and there and, you know, just trying to make it work. Cody's gone. Yeah, Richard Diaz I need a barra swap. 100% when I have the budget to do it. I talked with Adam LZ on how much his barra swap cost, and it's a lot. So Cody is back. But yeah, and I have some plans coming soon for something that I think you guys will all like, and it's, you know, it's a pretty like risky move for me, but I think it should work out pretty well. So Bean Squares United going to install a cage soon. It's probably a good idea.
Yeah, I mean, it just depends on really how aggressive you want to get with it, especially if you want to do like a 4-point, or if you actually want to take it like somebody like Tig Vision and have it do like a full 10-point. I mean, that's what's in my car, but I did a 10-point myself, you know, here in my garage the last few months. But it depends on how aggressive Andrew wants to get with it. If he's willing to start cutting holes and dashes and start welding tubes in.
Nope. Yeah, I mean, like the most I want to do is really like a 4 or 6-point, you know, so like a 4-point in the back, and then possibly like a 6-point with the removable door bars. Like that's the max I would do, because I'm a big guy, and squeezing over door bars like for a street car.
Yeah. I mean, it's even tight for me and mine for sure. I'm a really small guy, so.
Yeah, Chris Jones, didn't they pull Jordan off the track in his S550 because he didn't have a cage and ran a 9? Correct. Now, I think the reason why Jordan had a problem was because he went down track and there was a car on track, and it was basically like a big oh shit moment. So it brought attention. So yes, the rules are that if you run a 9 in a modern car, that you need a cage, right? But the reality is you can make a few passes and not get caught right away. And especially down here in Florida, like around here in Florida and with like modern cars nowadays, running a 9 is like not that fast anymore. So
technically the rule is like it's 2009 and below, or 2009 and up, and up, you can run a 999 and NHR rules before you would need a cage.
Yeah. So yes, I should do a cage, but
it's a lot. I mean, it's aggressive, especially for a car like yours.
Yeah. So, and then I got a anti-roll bar today for the car, so we're gonna get that installed. Because as of right now, I have been running it no sway bar, which is not ideal.
Not ideal at all.
Yeah. So, but yeah, we got to figure out what we're doing Sunday. You know, are we having a dual Whipple 3.8 party Sunday?
Yeah, that's what it's looking like. Hopefully, have mine. I'm starting to wrap it up now, getting the trains and everything in, and finish up the Holly and whatnot. But it's still a decent amount of work in progress right now. But yeah, hopefully we can get the Whipple on. Start doing your Whipple on yours Sunday, and then mine's going on tonight. So.
Yeah, I mean mine's kind of like fairly easy, as long as it fits, you know, without lowering.
Yeah.
But you know, tune wise, everything's there. You know, there's no tune change for a blower swap. So as long as we have a belt for it, which, you know, we should have a belt for it. You know, whether it's like a permanent belt or not, you know, we should have a belt for it and just kind of, you know,
Like, belts are on you, for sure. You get to the point where you start collecting so many GT500 parts, it gets nuts.
Yeah, I have a few belts from you. I have a bunch of belts just hanging around. We got the belts on the car. We got the belts that came with the blowers. So, yeah, we should be able to make it work. And then no hood, you know. I mean, either that or if the blower fits good in there without lowering it, like I could look into just getting like a, you know, like a Super Snake hood or a cowl hood or something.
Yeah. True. But yeah, just and whatever pulley combo we decide on to start out with on your car for sure. Assuming we probably start out like a 375 or a 4-inch, which is one of the bigger pulleys.
Yeah, Ken was kind of funny today when I was talking to Ken. He was like, so obviously we'll start out with low boost and try to match up some boost numbers with the VMP so we can compare it. And then he's like, so how far do you want to go with it? And I was like, I think we should like cut ourselves off at the injector limit and or 1300 wheel horsepower. Like, I think we're good. Because I want to have a nice like low-ish boost setting, as low as you know for the street and the strips. You know, I can kind of get the car down the track and figure it out with 11 or 1200 horsepower, and then we can have a high boost, you know, crazy setup. If everything's working, if there's track prep there, we could swap it on and you know, maybe trap like, I don't know, 160 plus, 165, who knows?
Yeah.
You know, and then the other thing is like, once we figure out everything and figure out the final power and get the suspension working, you know, we could possibly make a gear change to the rear end. You know, we could go to a 355 or a 373, because the reality is like, you don't really want to change your rear end gear until you know what your trap speed is going to be. And then you work out from there, because you don't want to change the rear end gear. Let's say we went to a 410, and then my fourth gear tops out at like, I don't know. I'm just throwing shit out here, but like
it'd be like 155, 158, somewhere around there. With the 60.
So like if I was planning to only trap 155, like cool, yeah, we can do it, whatever. But on top of that being very rowdy, I'm going to be very rowdy to try to hook that 410 gear up. But if everything hooked up and everything was good, then that would be a perfect setup if I wanted to stay at that 158, 155 trap. Whatever that is. But we haven't really decided where the car is going to land, so there's no point in changing the gear ratio to either hurt ourselves or, basically come up short, because we don't want to shift to fifth gear in a quarter mile. That's not okay. So.
Yeah, exactly. Especially, I mean, like I said, on your car, it's looking like, depending on your end goal, you know, right now we have an end goal on your car to be in probably somewhere around that 160 range. I don't know, being what the power it's going to make. A 355 would probably be really ideal, the ideal gear for that car to, because, we don't know where it's going to fall off either. You know, if it continues to make what the 3.8 it's probably going to. But if depending where you look at a dyno curve, and that's another reason why a dyno is a tuning tool. You look at the graph and see where it falls off at. So there's a curve, and in that curve, you see where the car is making power at. The car, when you grab a gear, you want to grab a gear in between where the car's falling off and still making power. So it's jumping back and forth in between the gears. Because if you're just revving the car out past senseless where it's not making any power, then there's no point in doing that, because you're hurting yourself. Even though the car's at higher RPM, you're still not in peak power. So
exactly,
it's just understanding gear.
That is it. So yeah, there. I mean, if we go back to like here, actually, let's put this up on screen here. Window capture. Let's go to
getting fancy.
I think so. We might be getting fancy. Let's try to put this up. Yes. Boom. And then I can do this. So like we have the GT500 up on screen, right? So let's go talk about this 9.6 pass, right? So I had a lot of people that were like, man, 1100 horsepower, so slow, blah, blah, blah. When the reality, like, people don't realize, like, Like what goes into like taking a car out to a test and tune with all these other people, you know, trying to run their cars, the track prep, you know, hot weather, you know, and being there with a first time setup, you know, trying to figure out the suspension, the tire pressure, you know, your driving and figuring all that stuff out. And we only had 4 passes to do it. So I mean, we went from going a 14 to 11. I mean, I really don't call the 14-second pass a real pass, but, you know, we went from a 14 to an 11 to a 10.0 to a 9.6. Like, constant improvements, you know, and, like, I'm not even trying to shift the car fast yet. Like, I'm just, let's hit all 4 gears and let's work on the 60-foot. You know, we wanted to see what the trap speed was. And we were pretty happy to see that we got a consistent mile an hour, you know, 148. We can kind of figure out all our issues, you know, with the suspension, the tire pressure, you know, our cooling issues. This is what that was. This was not, you know, let's go to the track and, you know, run the best possible 1100 wheel horsepower, you know, pass. You know, like if you look here at this launch right here, it is like, it's almost cringy. Like, for people who know suspension stuff, like, it's a little cringy, right?
Yeah.
You know, because I think I slowed it down here on the next, you know, next screen, right? So, like, if you look at it, the car, and this is not, like, anything against BMR. Like, Dion was there, and we made improvements. We went from, like, 2-something 60-foots to a 1.7, like a high 1.7, to a 161, and if we had another pass, we would have probably handled a lot of, you know, the issues here. You can see that we're kind of like bouncing a little bit. So there's just a lot of things we can do. I still don't know what these sparks are from. Did you notice that, Cody?
Yeah.
It still shot sparks on the later passes too.
Yeah, it still shot sparks on that last pass, and to be honest with you, I don't know if it was something actually on track, which I'm starting to believe it was. I don't know if there was an actual something in the actual tar of the track, but in the prep itself. But it did that on multiple passes, and I don't think it was just doing it on only your car either. So I think it was something track related, which is a little concerning. But I walked the actual in the groove and myself, you know, in between your passes, and I didn't see anything too unnoticeably, and I checked tires in between rounds, in between every pass, and everything checked out. So,
yeah, I mean, I think we needed a lot more tire pressure in here. Like, just looking at the playback, like, you know, because we measured the tire pressure, and we had this stupid gauge that goes from 0 to 20. And it's like, that's the most important range that we need.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, man. So, but overall, I mean,
it was just getting the car to hook. I mean, we started out the pass, we spun. Second pass, it bogged. Third pass, it spun. And then fourth pass, we finally got the car to, like, move out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so, I mean, like, if we had a track rental, like, a track rental and an ice tank, I mean, we would be way ahead of the game. Cause,
or just, I mean, let's just say this track rental, or we just had let's just say this, if we had a freaking stock intercooler in the car.
Well, yeah. If we had, like, normal temps, because, like, the reality is, even if we had, like, if we could go back-to-back to passes, we wouldn't be doing ourselves any favors, because the second I made, like, one hit, like, even just that first pass, the car was heat-soaked for the rest of the night.
Yeah, it was...
Yeah.
It was unbelievable. I mean, I've seen some rowdy data logs, and I've seen some, you know, crazy IET 210s on some GT500s, a fair amount of them, but that was aggressive, you know what I mean, for sure. So it's just the intercooler.
Yeah, I mean, we might just, like, cut the intercooler core open. You know, we haven't really, like, heard anything back from VMP, and, you know, we can only go off our theories, you know, at this point. But let's go back.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I was concerned, you know, at one point in time, you know, I was kind of concerned that it was a cam issue, just because the cams in the car are a little advanced, and they're big cams for sure. So you start to worry about having exhaust in the intake, but never that bad, ever. You know, that's never ever a concern that bad. Have that kind of high ET temperatures, especially with the theories we've seen already, or the actual data that we see in the data log, as the IET2s increase at watt, and then when we see the actual intercooler, the flow coming in and out of the exit, and then not only that, the actual overflow tank being cool to the touch. That's 100% intercooler issues. So, my mind's made up there. There's no doubt about it. After that first pass, I was like, this is not okay.
Yeah, I don't think we were in danger zone, and I talked with Ken a little bit, and he's the trap speed is pretty indicative of like pulling timing, right? And Ken said that he starts pulling timing in the calibration at about 130, 140 degrees IAT2. So we're starting out those passes already, down 4 or 5 degrees, and then
it's already down 4 or 5 degrees spark. For sure.
So and
that's
yeah.
I mean that's 4 to 5 degrees spark on that kind of setup. That could be about 100 wheel. So and that trap speed indicates that that trap speed was 1,000 wheel trap speed for sure. And but it's just like all calculating data. You know what I mean? So at that point, it being that PB Palm Beach Dyno tuned the car and E85 and the motor build that's on the car, we were confident everything was going to be okay. It's just not ideal. It's not perfect.
Yeah. So Matt said, would a two-step help with launch? And so I have two-step in the car, and it may help once we figure everything else out, right? I've always, with the PD blower cars, I've always launched them just by holding the RPM. I'm usually able to hold the RPM where I want it. Some people just they're not able to hold the RPM and focus on everything else. I'm pretty much able to look at the RPM and see it. If this were competition, you would want to dial everything in with a two-step. Like I'm going for test and tune passes here, so I have all the time in the world. When the light turns green, I go when I'm ready. So, but once we kind of figure things out, get the suspension working, and everything, then we can try to add the two-step in and see if it helps or hurts. Because the only thing I worry about is when you have a two-step on there, your right foot is wide open throttle. So if you hook at that RPM, and you drop the clutch and go, then you're good. But if the car doesn't hook, you're going from full throttle, backing off, and you're pedaling. You're starting out pedaling rather than starting out like half throttle and going full throttle as soon as you hook, essentially.
Yeah, it's all about, it's what you like, you know what I mean? I know multiple people that very fast stick-shift cars that literally all the thing they use is their feet, you know what I mean? So, and there's no watt box or two-step in the car, and I know there's people that are really, really fast that do use the two-step, so it's just like, it's your driving style, really.
Yeah, it also, so we're talking about a PD blower that makes instant power. There's no spool up. There's nothing. On a turbo car, like the Bullet, right? The Bullet makes 250 wheel horse. That's generous. Let's say the Bullet makes 230 wheel horsepower without a turbo. So you try to launch that car with no boost spooled off the line, you're launching a naturally aspirated two valve. So I launched that car at 5,200 RPM on the two-step, wide open throttle, and just drop the clutch and goes. I don't have to pedal that car though, because that's a prime example of something that's just dialed in. Like, it works for that power and that setup. It's a high 10 car that gets down track really well.
Yeah, for sure.
Let's see what we got. What do the comments say? Sabino said put possibly maybe an auto trans in that puppy. So 6R80. Like, if I wanted to go fast consistently and maybe compete with the car, the auto in that car would be just deadly. We're talking drive to the track, run an 8.8, chillin', and then drive home. The auto would be the ultimate, street car, drive there and drive home, and then you could push it even further. But the reality is, I went for a ride in Jason Textera's twin turbo auto GT500, and it is a badass, powerful, sweet car. But in that moment, riding it on the street, I was like, this is really cool, but it's not. It's just doesn't really do it for me. You know, having the stick makes the car a lot of fun. You know, and I have other cars that I can build, you know, to put an automatic in. But I think the GT500, you know, for me personally, to keep the manual in it. And in terms of cost too, when I thought I blew up my trans and it wasn't the trans, you know, it was cheap to build the trans in comparison to what the 6R80 swap would cost. You know, we were looking at, because if I swap that car, I can't just put a stock 6R80 in it. I got to put a built one in it. So built one, a converter, Coyote PCM, ABS module, IDS flashing, Coyote tuning. I mean, you know, all the dash pieces, the drive shaft. There's so much stuff that goes into it. You're lucky if you get away paying $10K for a 6R80 swap.
Yeah, to do it right, for sure.
Yeah, and you know, for me, the only way to do that car right would be to do, you know, the right, you know, the right dash pieces and the right shifter column, and you know, to get the ABS module synced up with it so it doesn't have a million lights.
And then gear change, another gear change.
Another gear change, yep. So for me, the 6R80 just doesn't make sense, and to spend all that money and to feel like the car isn't like as fun to me, you know. But it'd be completely different if I wanted to be a consistent competition car, you know. I mean, we could go extremely fast with a 6R80 in my car, even at full weight. I mean, we could go really fast, but I don't really want to do that. I want to keep her stick. So, let's see.
I can let you go, and then I can jump in the comments if you want.
Yeah, my hand's getting tired from holding this. We got to figure out a way to put you up on the screen. I just kind of started this live stream because I was going to edit the video of unboxing the Whipple, and then I was like, we'll just do a live stream for now, just talk. And, yeah.
So I'll hop off, and then I'll hop in the comments.
All right.
Later, bro.
See ya. All right. So, Cody_54 on Instagram. Cody's pretty cool, and yeah, we've just been having fun with the GT500s, you know, since we put the Gen 3Rs on the car, and just been having fun. So, dual 3.8 Whipple built motor GT500s coming to you, and I'm really excited about that. So what do you guys have for questions? I mean, I've been live for how long? Like 10? An hour or so. So, yeah, you guys can drop your comments and questions in here. Hunter Walker said, will you be going to the track again anytime soon? Want to see the GT500 run and couldn't make it out last time. I think that the next time we take the GT500 out to the track, it's probably going to be a track rental, which I'm probably going to post on like Facebook. Like if someone wants to, you know, split the track rental, you know, with us, then, you know, I'll probably post something there, you know, because we want to bring the cost down on the track rental, but we don't want to have too many people there. And obviously it's going to be like slick and drag radial only, so no street tires because we need the prep. But yeah, track rental is going to be the next thing for us. Hopefully we get a little bit cooler weather in the next few weeks, and then Cody's car is going to be done. My car is going to be ready. We have a anti-roll bar going in, maybe some Viking front struts and ice tank. So I still got so many changes with the car. It's crazy to think that I did a built motor, built trans, built rear end in the car, a 3.8 Whipple, but I still got to do a roll cage, an ice tank. We got an anti-roll bar now for it to install, and what else we got? Ice tank too. So there's just so much stuff that goes into it. Random videos, YT. I think that means YouTube. What is up, bro? Speed Freak, what's up? I think an auto would be cool in the Bullet too. I think that might be the move because I really want to make. Well, I want to go faster with the stick shift in that car first before going auto. You know, try to keep it on the cheaper side before, you know, kind of going crazy with it. But yeah, I think the Bullet might end up being the auto car, which obviously the Bullet was supposed to be like a manual because it's a Bullet. But I think that car could go really fast in the future if we, you know, turn it into more of a race car. Still trying to keep some street car aspects, keeping AC and some, you know, like a basic radio setup, but trying to make that car a little bit more race car-ish. You know, let's get it up to 700 or 900 wheel horsepower with a built 2-valve motor. And try to keep a stick in it for a little while. And when we start breaking, you know, 3650 trans on the daily, then I think it'll be time to go, I think 6R80 maybe. You know, I've never really been a fan of TH400 and Powerglide stuff, but they do work really fast. You just have to kind of figure out like a trans cooler stuff and stuff like that. Upgraded turbo. Yeah, I mean the Bullet's gonna need a complete turbo kit. The turbo kit in it is not ideal at all. I mean, it's an On3 Gen 1 kit, and I'm not talking shit about On3. I mean, I'm impressed that that's done as well as it has, but it's kind of like hacked together at this point. You know, I got orange copper RTV, I got some random gaskets holding the V-bands together. It works, but I mean, it's not it's not nice. So that car will get a full, really nice turbo kit one day. And yeah, and I'm excited to get. You guys still here? This thing just did something weird. I mean, but I'm excited to get. Okay, yeah, you guys are still here. It says there's just 0 viewers, but I'm excited to get a built motor done for that car. Andrew, what happened to your buddy's Coyote Swap GT? The black one, you should buy it. I don't know if you're talking about Nick's Turbo one in the New Edge car, or if you're talking about John Harder's 06 GT. Richard Diaz, how's the neighbors when you fire up El Chapo? So I actually have some cool neighbors on both sides of me. Super cool, very nice guys. And then there is a neighbor that is across the street from me, and he has been, since he bought his house there and has moved in, he's just been a jerk. And I have some video of him like screaming, freaking out. I've been debating on posting it. He's not just, you know, mean or loud and yelling, but he said some really insulting stuff. So I've debated posting the video, but I think I'm gonna end up doing it. It's probably gonna make him mad. He sends all my videos to like the police department and stuff. This guy is he's not a good human being. So I'm just gonna leave it there. But eventually, I think I'll just post the video of him just screaming, freaking out, saying that he'll beat me up and gladly go to jail. Just a lot of threats, and he's had a lot of really bad stuff against Ashley online. So it's really just you know, a person that is just not a good person. So yeah, there's a long story, a lot of history there, and I had never really planned to put it online, but there's nothing I can do at this point. So might as well, you know, try to cash in on some views or something, you know, to at least make the good of a shitty situation with you know, a shitty human being. Carl said, how much do tracks charge to rent them for a day? I think somewhere in the neighborhood of $3,000, you know, is what Orlando Speed World costs, and you divide that among the people that you bring. But don't quote me on that. Every track's going to be different. You know, it might be different depending on the time of the year. Who knows? Oh, we got Jonathan Harder in here. 2007 Coyote Swap. Sabino, Nick finally got his car back together. I gave him... So if you guys saw the yellow single turbo S550 that I parted out, I gave Nick the intake manifold, the Holley Dominator intake manifold thing for it. And he put his Coyote single turbo setup back in the car. So that car is running around and good. I mean, Nick wouldn't sell that car unless it was for like crazy money, like $25K or $30K or something like that. Yeah. Speed Freak, are you worried about legal consequences of the videos being sent out? I mean, the reality is, like, you know, we try to cover all bases, you know, in terms of, like, you know, there is a reason why there's Mexico, and there's a reason why you say, you know, that someone else is driving the car, and there's a reason why there's signs blurred. On top of, like, safety precautions, you know, I take when I go out and drive a car, you know, I don't do pulls next to people. I go out to the middle of nowhere, you know, to make sure that there's not going to be, you know, issues. But the reality is, you know, we do get down on the street, and people just have to get over it. And I try to be as safe as possible. And yeah, so if people don't like it, then I guess that's it. You know. And why fourth gear ends at 55 miles an hour? I don't know. Yeah, fourth gear, 55. It's crazy. I thought that was pretty funny when I added that into that video. Madman Rich put a hurtin' on a Scat Pack today. I have a question. Why don't you use two-step to get off the line better? From Beatboxer Guy 30. So I use a two-step on the Bullet. We kind of explained it a little bit earlier, but basically the track passes you saw the other day were like the very, very early stages of dialing in this car, and we need a track rental. We need an ice box, and we need a lot of different things, but we need time, a track rental, ice tank to really give us time to test everything. You know, we only had 4 passes on a brand new setup. Also dealing with, my first pass was basically a wash because my hand was shaking, and I never ever get worried drag racing. I'm pretty calm. Like the Bullet, I have raced that car so many times. You know, the GT500 when it was stock motor, I was never worried about a thing. But like, there's just like some things that got in my head, and I was just nervous. So that first pass was just basically a wash. It was basically like, all right, let's make sure we don't break the car. Let's make sure we don't hit the wall. Let's see if the car hooks. Because I also got pretty sketched out seeing, I don't know if you guys watched Boosted F-150 Dorian. You know, he had some issues with his truck, you know, an accident in his truck. And that freaked the hell out of me because I'm like, crap, like, I don't want, you know, this thing to get away from me. Like, so there's a lot of money, time, and everything that goes into this car, and to wreck it on track is scary. So that's the kind of thought that was going through my head on the first pass. So, you know, you gotta get out of your head. And once I, you know, it spun, and then I laid into it in first gear, and it hooked up in first gear, I was like, all right, we're good. Like, I was happy, I was calm. Which is normally the way I am. I'm usually not a very like nervous person. You know, ask Jonathan Harder. You know, when we're spinning, you know, at 55 miles an hour. It's more than that, but you know, pretty calm. Usually laughing too. Madman Rich, can't wait to run E85. Do you know if you need to change injectors on a 2020 GT to run E? You do not. Luckily, you have direct injection and port injection. So if you just want to, you can hit me up. I can get you set up with a Palm Beach Dyno tune. I'm actually a dealer for Palm Beach Dyno, so I can get you an N gauge and a tune. and flex fuel too, which is awesome. So basically, you put 93 in the tank or E85 or mix them. Doesn't matter, whatever mixture you have in there. Flex fuel tune will account for it, give you more power, and get you the right fuel trims and air to fuel ratio. So yeah, for sure, that's definitely the way to go. At least for an NA car. When flex fuel on a stock PCM on a boosted car, can't really do. But unless you get a Motec. But Motec piggyback or whatever. Or like a Holley EFI. But we're talking about race car shit. Sabino, Andrew, what is your goal to run at the moment? By the way, Sabino is awesome. He always watches the live streams. He has donated to the taco fund when we were up at Mod Nationals, which is funny. But my goal is to go high 8s, so like an 8.9, 8.8, with a car being a full weight-ish. I mean, I took the passenger seat and rear seats out, but a full weight-ish street car, without going too crazy with the car, so let's go like 8.8 at 150, 160, 8.9, something like that. With the stick. So that is my goal with the car. I think it's achievable. I mean, if we're talking the other day, I know if I had another pass the other day, I probably would have gone like a 1.5 60 foot, which would have put us in the neighborhood of like a 9.4 at 148. And we already know we're dealing with some heat soak issues from the blower and the intercooler. So, I mean, if we got the car to back half, like an 1100 horsepower car should. I mean, we're talking, we're already in a 9.4 at 148. We get the back half. I mean, we're already talking like a 9.2, So, with the car, where the car sits. So we're adding a bit of power with the 3.8 Whipple. It should be a different power band too, with that. So, yeah. Mongo Motors, how fast until the track tells you to go home? 999 or faster. So, yeah. Hell yeah, Sabino is the man. Yeah, I was just about to talk about a roll cage. I don't want to go like too crazy on like Cody has a full cage, right? So the Halo, what's it called? Is that 8-point? No, it's like 10-point or something. He has a full Halo, but yeah, if I do a cage, it's either going to be a 4-point or 6-point. If it is a 6-point, it's going to have removable door bars because I hate climbing over door bars. So I was looking at the Watson bolt-in 4-point cage, and they also have a bolt-in 6-point with removable door bars, which is what I should do. It just depends which route I end up going, but I do think a roll cage is a good idea, and I've seen a lot of a lot of wrecks and stuff recently, so it's a good idea. There's just it's crazy how much money goes into the car. Like, you think, you're like, oh wow, like sick, we got a built motor, we got a built trans, got a built rear end, and then you start trying to dial in the car and you're like, oh my god, there's like more stuff we need to go crazy. So I think a 4-point cage is probably only good for a 10-second pass. But so down here in Florida, and I don't want to say like too much about this because I don't want to like expose some people depending on what is watching, but our tracks are fairly lenient, and especially if we have a track rental. If you notice, Stang Mode also on a track rental, he went 8s without a cage. I think his car doesn't have a cage, unless someone can correct me if I'm wrong. But typically on a track rental, you can kind of do whatever you want. So my goal is never to be like a competition legal, NHRA, rule car. But I want to be safe. So, 4-point or 6-point cage, help stiffen up the chassis and, help a bit. But, yeah, I just don't want to take away from the street car aspect of the car. So that's why it would be a 6-point, so the 4 points in the back, and then the 6, the other 6 points are the door bars going forward. So that way I can kind of pass by some of the rules and, pass some tech, be a little safer, but without sacrificing so much. Oh, Madman Rich, you're in Ocala. Nice. Ocala is not too far away. James Birch. 2 boosted S550s. Hell yeah. Yeah, these, you know, I want to do more of these, you know, live streams and talk with you guys. You know, I had plans to do some consistent live streams, but I've also been daily uploading videos every day, which takes a lot of time and a lot of stuff. So I've been doing that and really trying to build the channel, and you know, obviously this is my full-time job, so you know, trying to just figure everything out and grow the channel and make the right moves. You know, obviously this is all really fun, and I want to keep doing this, and yeah, just making the right moves and figuring things out. And you know, Sabino is awesome supporting the channel as always. I mean, on the live stream, you know. You know, I appreciate everything that everyone does here, and I have a crazy idea that I'm nervous about, which we're gonna be launching within the next month. You know, you might have an idea. You know, there's other channels doing these you know, giveaway things, but that's probably the first you guys are gonna hear about it. But we have something planned, and you know, hopefully one day I can tell you guys about the long process of trying to figure out all this different business stuff, you know, to try to figure it out. But we should be launching something here in the next month, and I'm nervous, and I think you guys will support it and be happy, you know, with what we do. But it's nerve-wracking. So, you know, that's definitely that. Just reading through these comments. Oh, James Birch. Yes. What is up? Did you get a transmission for your car yet? Your name... You're confusing me. Your name on Facebook's Bobby. Oh, man. Madman Rich. Can't decide between a Whipple or Hell Horse. So... That was a tough one. I love turbos. Turbos are so much fun. You know, it's just going to be like the decision of like, do you want a little bit of turbo lag, or do you want an instant hit of a PD blower? The other things is like Whipple kit, really simple. Turbo kit, kind of complicated. So, James, that makes sense. Bobby is your middle name. But I was like, who is this guy? And I'm like, wait. Someone bought a turbo kit from me. I'm like, oh, that was Bobby, which is also James. So, but yeah. But Dan the man, you know what happened to Rush Shift YouTuber? Keep hearing that. Keep hearing that he shouldn't be dropping the soap. Did he get arrested for street racing? I think I've only talked to Rush Shift on Instagram like once or twice, but I couldn't tell you anything. Not really sure. Hopefully not. I know he's in California, but yeah, I don't know. He was making some like consistent videos for a while. Although I was so confused. So I didn't watch his channel a lot, but I know he had like a Scat Pack, and then he had a Boss 302, and then he also had a 19 GT manual with a Whipple on it. And I was like, whoa. I mean, I guess that's kind of like what I do, you know. Like, I was just like, how did he go from like one car to 3 cars like overnight? But I mean, obviously we have, you know, the GT350R, S550, GT500, and Bullet, and 3 valves. So we have a lot of cars too. But yeah, face plated TR6060, hell yeah, trying to show me up. I didn't do faceplated in mine because I'm trying to keep the car as streetable as possible. But, you know. Shifting gears. Sup, Andrew? Any new plans for the GT500? I don't know if you're just tuning in, but I figure we can show her one more time. that is the plan, Stan. That is it. 3.8 liter Whipple. So whoever's watching the live stream is going to get to see kind of the the early sneak peek. Tomorrow I'm going to post the unboxing video with Ken. Yeah, I mean, I'm super excited to get that on the car, which is going to be Sunday. Yeah. Madman Rich said, do you need a crank support for around 750 wheel horsepower? Probably not, but okay, sorry, let me rephrase that. Yes, you have a Gen 3 car, so there have been a lot of Gen 3 crank failures, actually. Pro Chargers, VMPs, Whipples, and even a turbo car. The snout of the crankshaft has been snapping off in the 7 to 1,000 wheel horsepower range. So actually, I would highly recommend on a Gen 3 Whipple turbo Pro Charger to just put a crank support on it. No one knows why these freaking cranks are snapping off, the balancer. But when that happens, you don't just snap a crank. I mean, you break the entire engine. Usually the heads, the cams, the cam caps, like everything just disintegrates. So yeah, I would probably recommend doing the crank support, because that crank support is a badass setup. I'm really excited to have one now on my GT500. Matt Coates, MFP Australia, he is awesome. And he puts out awesome products, so definitely. Random videos YT, are you reading my emails? So he said you should put Corsa Extreme on the GT500, but funny you asked that, and we got some on the way. So we're going to make the GT500 a little louder with the axle backs. Obviously, we still have cutouts, so, I'm excited for that new sound. Sabino said, what's been your fastest pass in the quarter mile? And just Wednesday was the fastest pass, the 9.6 at 148. So previous to that, the fastest pass was the 10.0 at 141 that we made in the GT500 on the stock motor. So, Mr. I'm High Off Music said, because the crank is made of toothpick and glue. Maybe. Jager wrenching. Your F-250 is your favorite vehicle, you just don't know it yet. LOL. Once tuned, they are the most fun vehicle to drive, and they hit almost as hard as a blower car. No, I 100% agree with you. The F-250, the only thing I'm, missing is mine's not tuned yet, obviously, because 2020, and I had to send out the PCM and all that stuff. But, it has, the torque hit on it down low is nasty. And I can't imagine with a tune on the F-250. I mean, 1,050 foot-pounds of torque. That's rowdy for a stock tune, vehicle. So with a tune, I can see, obviously, the 96 mile an hour speed limiter is driving me crazy. Not that we go faster than that, but that drives me crazy. And the truck just doesn't make horsepower while it makes a lot of torque. So once you bump up that horsepower, bump a little boost, take out some of the stock nannies in the tune, it's gonna go. it'll be a lot of fun. But in terms of towing and gas mileage, I cannot believe I just drove to Palm Beach Dyno and back with 21 miles to gallon with diesel. That is insane. So I really like it, and I'm glad we went with the Lariat Ultimate, fully loaded. I really like all the features of it. It was expensive, but I think it was worth it. Let's see. Mustang Steve underscore GT. Sorry, I was late. Did we discuss 3-valve Turdzilla 2.0 yet? So, I don't know what Dan the Man's talking about. I didn't sell anything yesterday, but yeah. I don't know about like 3-valve Turdzilla. Ashley was talking about it, but I really want to buy Turdzilla back, the actual one. I've talked with Rob, the owner. It currently still sits with no engine or transmission in it. He's planning on building, he has like rods and pistons and a crank that he bought from Jordan, but he's planning on building another 464 valve and putting it in it. But man, like I like almost want to go buy like a complete 2-valve car and just drop it off and be like, look, here's like a good paint. Let's be honest, Turdzilla is not the nicest car in the world. Now I would love to like redo it really nice, but Turdzilla is not the nicest car in the world. So if I could find like a nice, cheap, running and driving 2-valve Mustang and like say, hey, look, Rob, here's a car. I just bought it. Let's trade. I will take the car with no engine or transmission in it and have Turdzilla back. And then if we could do that, that's where like we would go crazy with. I would finally want to do the Coyote swap in it, a Gen 2 Coyote swap. You know, probably rewrap it, same exact color, but do some body work on it and just redo the car. You know. Keep the Turdzilla character, but I just feel like it'd be so cool to redo that car and do it up really nice. So hopefully I can. Yeah, Sabino. Next thing Andrew is missing a single cab Whipple F-150 or turbo F-150 that can be the auto vehicle. So I loved my 18 F-150 4-door. That truck was so fast for being a pickup truck that can tow. I mean, 12.8 at 108 is flying for a 4-wheel drive, it's a 2-wheel drive 4-door truck. I mean, yeah. So I miss the truck. I don't regret getting rid of it because the F-250 tows so well, and it's a really good daily driver. And you know it's going to hold some pretty good value. You know, it was expensive, but it holds value. So, but I would love to have a single cab 18 up F-150 Whipple, badass, 100% daily driver, auto. You know, 9-second, just truck. It'd be so much fun. Yeah, the Jagger wrenching, you can definitely tell there's like they're hella turned down because they make a lot of torque and it just kind of falls off. But you know, I can tell there's a lot of potential. What's the time? Oh my god, it's almost midnight. Random videos YT. I loved Auto Vlogs F-150. I saw the car a few times in person at VMP. It looked pretty cool. I hadn't really watched his videos too much, but I think he sold it, right? What do you think of an Explorer running low 11s with just a tune? I mean, I'm assuming we're talking about an Explorer ST. Badass for sure. I mean, the Explorer STs are awesome. Ashley's stepdad actually has an Explorer ST, and I want to like tune it, but he doesn't really do like performance stuff, but it'd be like fun to just like tune it and see if he noticed the difference. You know. At what time will El Chapo need a parachute? I think technically 150 miles an hour or faster, it needs a parachute for the track. And we are 2 miles an hour away, or a good non-heat heat soaked pass away from that. But so basically right now, because we're putting the Whipple on Sunday, but I really don't want to do a parachute. I mean, like, it'd be cool, but, like, I don't know. I don't really want to go that crazy. But I guess we'll figure it out. If we do end up doing a parachute, we'll figure it out, but I don't really want to unless I have to. It still has 6-piston Brembos. I mean, the car stops, like, so do we need a parachute? Maybe for rules, but, you know. Yeah, I mean, the GT500 is staying street car. You know, but there's like a removable, I can do a removable parachute mount. So basically cut a hole behind the license plate on the bumper for the parachute frame to come out. And you can unbolt it and bolt it back on. You know, basically take the license plate off, put the parachute on, which you don't need a license plate when you're going to the track anyways. And then if I did want to drive around on the street with a parachute, which I don't really think is necessary, I could just mount the license plate on the parachute. We're in Florida. They don't give a shit about, you know, all that stuff. But, yeah. Parachutes are cool, but, like, Like, I just, like, there's so many people who put parachutes on cars that don't need parachutes. And it's just like, why are you doing that? Yeah, my car actually probably needs a parachute for rules. But in terms of stopping, like, I have 6-piston Brembos. I trapped 148 the other day. All I did when I trap 148 is I take my right foot off the gas, I lean into the brake, and I gradually slow down. Like, there's never any point where I need to roast the brakes to slow down. So, Condor _ S197. I have a 3.8 liter Whipple. Unboxing video will be up tomorrow. I'm excited to show that, but yeah, I mean, she is big. I'm excited about that. So, that looks like a happy guy. Oh man. So, heck yeah. Fisting her already. I want to put a Coyote in my single cab Chevy Silverado, but I would get a lot of hate. Yeah, probably. That'd be cool. The only thing that, like, I see an issue is, like, a Coyote and a 15 up F-150 would be, like, so much easier. You know, like, oh, you could, like, yeah, you could swap it into a Silverado and try to make everything work, but, like, or you could just trade in and get a 15 up F-150 that are already way lighter than a Chevy, you know, Silverado is. But, you know. Shifting gears, I'm honestly pretty impressed with how much power you got out of the VMP 2650 Gen 3R. Yeah, I mean, 1144 is what we did, pretty much maxed out. The only thing you could do more than that is a 15 or 20% lower, but, like, we went up 2 pounds of boost and we only saw 20 wheel horsepower. That's not a good, you know, a good gain. So it's just that the blower is just really maxing itself out. So that's just kind of the deal. Dan the Man, yes, thumbs up the video, share it. You know, I think that stuff helps. You know, commenting. YouTube has been so difficult to make a video, you know, kind of do well and get lots of views, but, you know, the best, you know, I can do is just say, like, hey, you know, you guys, you know, like and comment. And, you know, obviously I try to reply to any comment that is, like, replyable to. You know, not every comment, you know, like, I don't want to just say some bullshit response to you, you know, but, you know, I don't just want to be, like, cool every time, you know, thanks for commenting. But, like, I'll comment back. I assume you guys see it. I comment back. If you guys have a question or a comment or a cool comment, something that I can reply to. I reply back to, you guys. So, but I think YouTube goes off engagement. Likes, comments, shares, stuff like that. The videos that do better and those stuff, they get circulated around more and more. Whipple for the win. That is it. Yeah. So, probably gonna hopefully do some more live streams, I do think we used to get, I guess it doesn't really matter, but we definitely used to get, more viewers at the same time. We used to get, a few hundred, so I don't know why exactly the live stream. It could be just the time that I'm doing it. Obviously it's fairly late, to do a live stream, but yeah. James Birch, most views on a single YouTube video. I think it's the CarPlay one that I posted, which has the most hate on it, because it's so stupid. I made a video on how to play YouTube videos on Apple CarPlay, and you need a jailbreak for it. And then all these people come across this video and they're like, "Oh, that's so cool, I want it." And then they're like, "Screw you for not telling me within the first 3 minutes that I need a jailbreak." This is not a tech channel. I told you need to go over to this so-and-so person that shows you how to jailbreak your phone, and then you can do what I'm showing you to do. That's all it was. But 680,000 views on that. Coming in second place. Here, actually, I can share my screen. You guys can see these. I don't know if you guys have looked recently. But, yeah. Here we are. $680K on the Apple CarPlay video. George's Focus RS coming in at second. Don's Stage 3 Roush coming in with 380K. Comment down below if you guys remember these videos. And then we got Scott's the FBO E85 GT, back in the day. This was just a classic that kind of put us on the board, because this was when the 15 Mustang was new, and that was a new platform. And there's so many people who have gone, full bolt on E85 because of these videos. So it's cool to see this video getting up there, the teardown of the 5.8, 299K, which is pretty cool. So, yeah. 176K, I'm picking up the GT500. People saying the Whipple sound tube mod was so stupid, but 157K views. Really just a fun mod for your car. But yeah, we got some ones here. The first this was one of the first 18 Mustangs to come out that we got to take for a ride and experience the 10-speed automatic. So that was cool. There are a whole bunch of videos in the 100, below 100K views, but still don't have a million view video. So you guys need to help me out with that. Get me to a million view video. Let me look back at the chat. David Warden asked, "Do you still talk with Jeff Ashton?" Not really. And it's not really I couldn't even tell you what's the deal there, but nothing happened. Jeff disappeared from all his social media, and disappeared for a year and didn't talk to me as well as all of you guys and stuff, and then still doesn't talk to me. So I don't know if I did anything wrong or if he just has some stuff going on in his life, but couldn't tell you. And then Scott, he kind of just like quit the channel, you know, a long time ago, but he's still around in the area, you know, so I've talked to him here and there, but that's about it on that. Yeah, maybe I need to post on you know, Instagram and whatnot, you know, Facebook when I go live. This was more of like just a spur of the moment. I was kind of like, what should I do? You know, I didn't want to upload the Whipple 3.8 unbox. I didn't want to go and edit that video and rush it out and get it out. I'd rather just kind of have a conversation with you guys and stuff. So, Extreme Mustangs. Hey man, congrats on the 9.6 pass. Been here since around 10k subs, so that's a while. So, you know, we have completely, you know, changed. You know, that was back when we were living in the apartment. You know, we had the Cobra and the GT as our daily drivers. So, you know, a lot has changed since then. So, you know, I was still going to school and working full time, and well, I work full time. this YouTube channel and business keeps me busy full time. But I did quit my full time job at AT&T, you know, about a year and a half ago. So I've been doing this full time, and then you know, I graduated with a bachelor's degree about is that what, 2 years ago? Crazy. Yeah, I graduated in 2018 of December. So that is crazy. And yeah. Madman Rich likes watching the engine builds with Jordan. So we hopefully be doing a 2-valve build series too. You know, who knows? Maybe eventually we'll do a GT350R, you know, 5.2 Voodoo with him. You know, hopefully we are not forced to do that, you know, by some sort of failure with the 350R. But anything's possible. I mean, we're making 920 wheel horsepower, so you know, who knows? But thinking of ever bringing your GT500 to TX2K. It could definitely be a possibility to bring it out for sure. I've been wanting to go to TX2K. It's just, you know, every year hasn't really just been the perfect time, you know, with my GT500 being down. I was thinking about flying out this year, but, you know, it just has to be worth it from, like, a business standpoint, you know, because, like, the videos I post on other people's cars do not do as well as my cars, which, you know, I try to put out a lot of content and a lot of different diverse stuff, but, like, you know, if I'm spending money on flights, hotel, and food to go to Texas and film there, and, you know, I'm making, you know, let's just say $300 from some videos that don't do well, then, I mean, we're spending like thousands of dollars and making like $300 back. So while it may be fun, we got to make sure that we're making, you know, some money back for the, you know, the expenses we're going through. So, Juice Gaming, are you going to go to a Demonology YouTube call out? I would like to. There was one that they were putting on, and one of the big reasons I didn't want to do some big long drives before is because the F-150 was a little bit of a struggle with the longer drives with the gas. But the diesel is like, it tows so much better. So I feel safer and you know, and both in terms of cost too. You know, I can drive a lot further, and you know, I just feel better with the diesel to drive out to Texas, you know, with the diesel. So you know, I'm definitely happy about that. Shifting gears, how much power are you hoping for with the new 3.8? Our goal is 1300. Our goal this whole time, even with the Gen 3R, was to make 1300. And the reality is, like, 1100 is a lot, and it's plenty of power. The 1300 is just kind of like that goal. It's like, oh, I just want to do that. And the reality is, it doesn't have to make 1300, you know. But The goal is to make it efficient and not heat soak at this, because I'm gonna leave the car somewhere in the 11 to 1200 wheel horsepower range, to have fun on the street and to go run my 8-second pass. So and that's the real goal, is to go 899. The horsepower number is just a horsepower number. It's not going to be driven and raced at 1300 wheel horsepower all the time unless we need it. So, David Warden, roll race the GT500 at FL2K. Well, FL2K was, last weekend, and I wasn't ready. You guys, if you saw the video of me driving the GT500 down track, my hand was shaking at the first pass. So, for me to take the GT500 to FL2K, spend, let's just say $200 or something like that to enter a class, and to go down track in front of a bunch of people, not knowing if this car is going to spin out and crash into a wall or something, there was no consideration from me. I was just not going to do that. Not until I test that car and I know what it's going to do on track was I going to go to an event like that. I did want to go out there and kind of film and maybe, do some street racing stuff, but I had some family in town and it just didn't seem worth it. And I know there was some rain, in town from the hurricanes and everything else, so it just didn't seem worth it for me, honestly. But next year for sure, and now that I'm uncomfortable with the car on track, I was very, very concerned after seeing other people wreck cars. I wanted to take it easy and make sure that I feel comfortable. And as soon as I made that first pass, I made the 1-2 hit, and I was like, cool, car hooks, I'm good, I'm calm. I don't like being nervous. So, Extreme Mustangs, what about making a separate channel for doing other people's cars? I've been thinking about doing, because I think some of you guys know I like all types of cars. Obviously Mustangs are one of my favorite cars, but Corvettes, Vipers, GTRs, I love all types of cars. And there's other cars I want to own. I want to own an Audi R8. I want to own a GTR. There's a lot of different cars that I want to own and I want to experiment with, and I would love to be able to do that as a YouTube channel. Obviously Mustang lifestyle is kind of hard to do that under that umbrella. But I've been putting some serious thought into doing, another channel that is just kind of all around automotive, And obviously Zach is a big help. Zach with the Camaro, which is the polar opposite of a Mustang. He helps out a lot, and we feature his car on the channel a lot. But yeah, I definitely have some big goals in the future, and to get there, you gotta dream big, and there's there's some crazy cars I want to own too, and I want a bigger house and more space, and just gotta set your goals and set some plans and kind of figure out how you want to get there. I want to own a Ford GT, 05, 06 Ford GT, which are the neighborhood of $250K. So those are expensive cars, but I really want to own one. So, don't sell yourself short and try to set goals and achieve them. So, yeah, for sure. Oh, what time is it? I think it's about time to go to bed. But, yeah, I guess you guys can drop your last few questions up in here, and then, yeah, then I'm gonna probably go to bed, edit the video tomorrow. Shifting gears, how's the S550 doing? Any new plans? We got some big plans for it, and I got a transmission for it. I'm gonna put it in, and we're gonna make some videos on it and whatnot. But I got some plans for it. It's I don't really want to give anything away, but it'll be returning back to the channel, I guess. It's not far. It's in the garage. It's just been chilling, but yeah. We got some plans. If you got a Ford GT, would you build it yourself or send to Hennessey? I don't think I would send anything I own to Hennessey. Um, Hennessey and Shelby America are these two companies. I mean, Shelby America has its name behind it, right? Of, Carroll Shelby. But the reality is they take regular Mustangs and they put rebranded parts on it and charge astronomical prices for the same stuff that you and I can build. So, the Shelby America Super Snakes, like the 1314s and the '07, those were really cool cars. Like, I like those. But, the stuff that they're coming out with now, like, they were coming out with, like, GT500 and Super Snakes that they weren't real. Why is Shelby America, coming out with a GT with a Whipple on it, calling it Shelby, and confusing people, thinking there's a Shelby, So I'm not the biggest fan of Shelby America and the stuff they put out as of recently. I really like Shelby America and the the history behind it, but I just don't think some of the stuff as of recent that they put out is not. I don't think it's just like it's a money grab. It's using the name to put out something that's not worth $150,000. Yeah, I mean, if you do a search of Hennessey on Google, I mean, there's stuff about Hennessey that I mean, maybe they've changed, but there's some stuff going back that Hennessey doesn't have the best history with that. But I mean, they do come out with like some cool stuff, and if you want to pay $100K for something you can build for 50, sure. And you want to put a Hennessey badge on your car and call it a Hennessey car, cool. Who I think is doing badass shit is Fat House Fab. Now they're in that same category of extremely expensive, Mustang modification stuff. But here's the thing, like, they're putting twin turbo kits on GT350s and 350Rs. They're putting the right parts in it, sweet clutches, sometimes built motors. They're putting Motecs in it. They're doing stuff other people are not doing, like a Motec, that communicates with the factory CAN bus. You have a boost controller built into your drive modes. I think Fat House Fab does a fantastic job, and I don't have any personal first-hand experience. I've only spoke with Fat House like once at Mod Nationals, but I think that the stuff that they're doing is super cool. I think it's super expensive, but I think that they have a justification behind it. So, Madman Rich, what's a good suspension setup for a lower ride and racing? Probably just some BMR springs. Ceta makes some good springs too, but I think BMR makes really good drags, like drag stuff, and even just like some street road course stuff. I think you should like decide if you want to go BMR or Steta or something like that, and use the springs from that company along with their vertical links and their bushing lockout kits and cradle lockout. All the different parts that they have. Use one suspension company and stick with it rather than using a bunch of different stuff, because you can get the suspension to kind of work right. So, Peter, Hussein, sorry, I'm not good at pronouncing names. Is the Super Snake your only Shelby complaint? Yeah, probably as of recently. Like the it's not the older Super Snakes. Like, I love the wide body or just the really nice done up Super Snakes 07 to 14. But there's some stuff that they put out and it's just like, why are you calling these, like, they came out with like a 2011 to 14 Shelby GT350, and people don't understand the difference between a Shelby America car and a Ford car, because they're like, oh, there's a GT350. I'm like, yeah, well, Shelby America make up whatever they want. It just drives me crazy that they just don't care. They're like, okay, if you have a big a big checkbook, then we'll make whatever car you want and we'll call it a Shelby whatever. I don't like that. they can make a one of one, car. It's one of one because that person ordered it from them and they called it a one of one car. I can't stand the paying an extremely high amount of money to make something special that isn't special. Make something special and stick to your quality and just do something cool and nice and use high quality stuff, and you can charge a premium for it, but make sure it's something worth charging a premium for, not just a bolt-on Coyote GT that you call a Super Snake. I just don't agree with that. Yeah, some collabs, kind of work. They're kind of good ideas, So, but I think we're gonna wrap this up. Saul Rico asked what suspension I have on the GT500, and we're full BMR front to rear. We got some more tweaks, more horsepower, more tweaks, but we'll get the suspension going. One more question. My 95 Cobra bushings and my upper and lower control arms are bad, so I got to steal some UPR uppers, and I want to do. I got to steal on some UPR uppers and want to do BMR relocation setup. Is that a good combo? It's like mixing suspension setups a little bit complicated, but the reality is, like, if you got a good deal on it, it should work fine. So, you should be able to, make it work, or sell them and get some matching set. But, the suspension setups, they're not overly complicated. The goal of getting upper and lower control arms on the new Edge Mustang is to get rid of the old dry rotted, rubber bushings that may be in there from factory, and the crappy control arms that flex. The point is to get a control arm that works better. Ideally, you use the same manufacturer between both, but if not, at least you get rid of some of that slop there. But yeah, hopefully I answered everyone's question here, and hopefully we'll be doing more of these live streams. And look forward to tomorrow for the Whipple 3.8 unboxing. Sunday is the install, and depending on how everything goes and how tired I am, there may be a video Sunday of first start, or there may not be, maybe a Monday. And then if everything goes according to plan, we will be dynoing the car by end of week at Palm Beach Dyno to make 1300. So I think that's a wrap. We will see you guys in the next one. And yeah.